Welcome back to Miss Eddie's Math Movies, where it's a cute to be a square. Today's lesson is 9.1, Solid Figures. By the end of the lesson, you will be able to identify and name solid figures. In order to identify solid figures, we have to know what a solid is. A solid is just a three-dimensional figure or shape. So we've been dealing with all two-dimensional, all flat shapes. Now we're going into the third dimension. As you can see down here, we've got a length, a width, and a height. A polyhedron is a type of solid that's formed by polygons. Remember, polygons have no curves. They're closed. And then for face and edge, all the flat surfaces are called faces, and the segments joining the vertices are called the edges. So a solid formed by polygons with flat surfaces called edges, or called faces, I'm sorry. So we've got polyhedron, face, and the edge is where the faces meet. So a solid formed by polygons with flat surfaces, called faces, that meet at segments called edges. Tell whether this solid is a polyhedron. Describe the shape of the base and then name the solid. All right, so a polyhedron is made up of polygons, so there can be no curves. So if I check, no, there are no curves. The base, we got triangles, squares, rectangles. Yep, these are all polygons. This solid is formed by polygons. So it is a polyhedron. And then the bases are always, if there's two bases, they're always going to be parallel. So here's a base, here's a base. Notice they're parallel. The bases are congruent triangles. So we call this a triangular prism. All right, so we're going to make a little chart on naming things in a moment. Here, if I look, these are curved. So this is not a polyhedron. We call this a cylinder. So underneath, we're going to kind of make a little chart here on how you name these. All right, so we have solids. And solids are either polyhedra or not polyhedra. Polyhedra is plural of polyhedron, or non-polyhedra. All right, so if it's made up of polygons, right, this is going to be a prism or a pyramid. A prism has two bases. A pyramid just has one base. Non-polyhedra, there's three different types of non-polyhedra, right? They have curved edges. We just talked about a cylinder. A cylinder has two bases. Then there's a cone. A cone only has one base. And then there's a sphere, just like a ball, a basketball, a volleyball. So this is kind of will help you determine, we'll name some of these things. So two bases, prism, or if it's circular, it's called a cylinder. So let's take a look over here. Name the polyhedra. All right, so you always do the base plus the solid. That's how you name it. So notice we only have one base. So this is, look over here, this is either a pyramid or a cone, and all of this, everything is straight, not curved. So this is a pyramid. Well, what kind of pyramid is this? Well, what's the base? The base appears to be in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6-sided shape. So that's a hexagon. This has one base. The shape of the base is a hexagon. So we call this a hexagonal pyramid. A hexagonal pyramid. How many faces and how many edges does it have? Well, let's see if I can find a three-dimensional version of that. I don't have one handy. So this is one base, this is one face, I'm sorry. So how many flat surfaces? Here's one, and then how many triangles are there going around? Well, so there's 1 triangle, 2 triangle, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 triangles for each of these 6 segments, and then there's the base. So that's 7 faces total. How many edges? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 going down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 going around for a total of 12 edges. It says name all the congruent faces. So, well, all these triangles are congruent to each other. So triangle PVQ, that's this one. The next triangle is QVR. And then QVR, RVS. SVT, TVU, and then UVP. All those faces are congruent. And then here they listed all the congruent edges. Right? Notice the edges going on the bottom, PQ, QR, all of those are congruent. And then the edges going up are congruent. Sketch a triangular prism. So if you remember, if you go back to here, a prism has 2 bases. So let me give you some examples. This is a prism. So you've got a base here and a base here. This is a rectangular prism. Here's another type of prism. This is a square prism, which we call a cube. But notice 1 base, 2 bases that are parallel. So we need to draw a triangular prism. There's a triangle on the top and the bottom. This looks like an octagonal prism. Notice there's 2 bases, but the bases are octagons. So we need to draw something like this. Triangle on top, triangle on bottom. That's what a triangular prism is going to be like. So what I would do is I would draw a triangle here, then draw the same triangle down here, and then we got to connect them. Connect, you can maybe make it 3D if you're good. Maybe some of you are really good at drawing. So I should have made that 3D back there. That's my best, right? Here's a base. Here's a base. I've got a triangular prism. So here, more sketching, where prisms have 2 bases. Pyramids have 1 base. And these just down here are other solids. So 1 base for each of these, 2 bases for those. We just did triangular prisms, so you should be able to do that. A rectangular prism, you're going to draw 2 rectangles and connect the vertices. I like drawing cubes a lot, right? You draw a square, another square, we can make this really 3D, another square behind it, and then you connect all the vertices. There's my cube. So go ahead and do these 2 now. We just did this one, so do it again. Do the rectangular prism. Let's talk about pyramids. So you're going to do this now. Do this now. Pyramid only has one base, so we're going to draw a rectangle. And it's got to come up to a single point. So we just got to draw from the base to that single point. A rectangular pyramid. Triangular pyramids, we draw a triangle, draw a point above it. All of these have to come up to that point. Obviously my 3D drawings are lacking there a little bit. Pentagon has 5, so I want you to do the pentagon, a pentagonal pyramid. Draw a pentagon and extend all those edges up. A cylinder has 2 circles as bases. You just connect those 2 circles. It's like a can. I'm sure you've seen a cone before. So you can see, so I want you to try to draw a cone. I can give you a visual for that. This is a cone, right? Circular base. See if you can draw a cone. And a sphere, right? See if you can try to draw a sphere. Make it 3-dimensional. What I like to do for sphere, right, it's circular, but then I like to put kind of rings around it to make it look a little bit more 3D. Alright, so that kind of makes it look a little bit more 3-dimensional, I think. So get those shapes drawn, do your best. Then you're coming down here to the checkpoint. Tell whether the solid is a polyhedron. Okay. Polyhedron, so it's a yes or no. Right? You're looking for straight versus curved. Straight sides are yes. Curved is no. Then it says identify the shape of the base. What shape is the base? So you're going to do yes or no for polyhedra. What's the base? And then you're going to name the polygon, which is base plus solid. So use those solids from above. So think about what the base is. And in here, you don't have to, you can say circular, but it's a little redundant. You don't have to use the name of the base when it's non-polyhedra. So do these now, please. This is M Cubed signing out.